Dwight, of course, will be playing for his fourth team in 4 years, but as you heard, he plans on making Washington his final stop. He has high hopes for his partnership with John Wall. Jackie, how do you feel about this? Is he a good compliment to John Wall? Do you see this working?
He could be. He could be. So I feel like Dwight Howard is where Carmelo Anthony, he's 2 years behind Carmelo Anthony in terms of understanding it's time to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I can't be on the block and demand 20 touches a game. I can't be that player anymore. I can, but nobody wants me to be that player anymore,
right.
More accurately. If he can understand that and accept that, he can be a great addition to any team. People forget, he's such a punching bag now. This guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He still has talent. Now, his talents are a little different in today's league. We can talk about that a little bit if we want. It's up to him, Rachel. He absolutely can be a compliment. But the question is he able to submerge his ego enough to understand getting the ball on the block 15 times a game is not going to happen?
That's been the conversation for 5, 6, 7 years with
right.
him. He's had a very interesting career. He has been a dominating player, a dominating defensive player. At one time, basically carried a team to the finals.
At one time, the most coveted free agent.
Several times, a very coveted free agent.
Of all.
Yeah. And yet, he has been time and time again, been completely said, you know what, we got to get rid of him. Like, teams have said, get away.
So this conversation you guys are both talking about, that yes, of course, many teams have been saying this to him. Don't you think the Wizards, this is the first one where there was a buyout, and then he goes and signs with this team. Don't you think the Wizards had to have had that conversation with him?
Don't you think the Hawks had it with him 2 years ago?
And the Hornets.
I don't know.
And the Hornets and Steve Clifford, a guy that he really believed in and who believed in him. So.
I don't know. Do you think they had that conversation?
I'm sure they had it. I'm not sure.
I feel like he was at a different stage in his career.
Well, the other problem is
but I don't know.
He needs some consistency. He changed his agents. He's back. He's this. He's that. Is he with Aaron again? Is he with Aaron Goodwin again? I mean, he's back and forth. And so there's got to be some consistency in his life for there to be consistency in his career and in his future. And he says he wants to retire, but he's on a one-year deal.
John Wall will get him open shots. By the way, John Wall got Marcin Gortat open shots.
Yeah.
I thought John Wall and Marcin Gortat hated each other. I thought they played well together.
First of all, we don't know they hated each other.
Oh, they didn't like each other.
We know that there was...
Oh, they didn't like each other.
Hate is a strong word, Brian.
Hate is a strong word.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying. Look, I mean...
Did you read either their social medias over the years?
Again, hate is a strong word. That's all I'm saying.
But so
I
think
thought
about
Gortat was good with them.
Think about what Gortat did for the Wizards and how he was on the bench at the end of tight games almost all the time.
Yes.
That's going to be Dwight Howard's role. So can he handle it?
Right. And I guess, look, one thing I do know about Dwight is that when he was sort of perceived, again, as damaged goods, the way you point out, in this trade from Charlotte to Brooklyn, and then Brooklyn washing their hands of him even before he got in the door. Because when that trade first happened, I know he was sort of like, oh, I could play in Brooklyn, and then no. I know because I talked to him about it. He said that he's just so tired of being perceived as this bad apple. He is very invested in changing people's minds about that.
I hope he does.
We'll have to see if he...
I hope he does. I have sympathy for him. He's not a bad guy.
No, nobody says he's a bad guy.
He was throwing the word around.
A lot of people said that he's a bad teammate.
People say.